Hey, you guys, I am Mandy Moon and I am a brand marketing consultant. I'm currently in my bedroom because I have a 6-year-old son who's at home and using my home office, and so we got to make do. But I just wanted to hop on live and share a little bit. So, again, I'm a brand marketing consultant. I work with sales teams, professionals, entrepreneurs, anybody who wants to do a better job of telling their story online. And I'm from central Minnesota, and over the last 2 weeks, I've been working with businesses all over the area trying to redirect and refocus their efforts during this crazy time in our history. And as I've been working with these businesses, I'm going through the process of creating a brand foundation, creating a brand that they can be proud of, one that's not sleazy or salesy, especially during this time, but also one that has longevity. So one that's going to last in the future, one that they're going to be, again, extremely proud of. And I thought about this for a while, and I really, truly just want to help as many people as possible during this time. And so I am going to be hopping on live every day this week just to share a little bit of behind the scenes for my process, what it looks like when I'm working with clients. I just want to help as many businesses and professionals and entrepreneurs during this time as possible. So that's what we're going to do. I hope you find this helpful. Feel free to share with any sales teams, entrepreneurs, professionals that could use a little boost in business or help with their marketing efforts, specifically during this time, because that's all we have right now is time. At least that's me. I should say I have a lot of time, but these 2 weeks have been crazy, just trying to help different businesses in the area. So let's just dig in. Let's get to it. All right. So, first of all, what is a brand? I get this question all the time. The word brand is kind of a sexy word right now. It's kind of a buzzword. It's a term that, what is a personal, you have to brand, be on brand, a personal brand. Like all of this stuff is kind of hot right now, right? So, if you go to Google and you type in the word brand, you're going to come up with at least a dozen different answers, right? And to me, all a brand does is answer a good brand answers two questions, right? Who are you and who cares? Right? That's all a brand is. It answers those questions. Who are you and who cares? And the measurement of a successful brand to me is how well your audience can communicate who you are and who should care. So I'm going to say that again. What is a brand? A brand answers two questions. Who are you and who cares? And the measurement of a successful brand is how well your audience can communicate who you are and who should care. All right? So how do you get a brand to do that? How do you get a brand that has an audience that can clearly communicate who you are and why people should care? So I, again, have a 5-step process. Today we're going to go through just step 1. And just like any good thing that is built, when you build something, you start with a good foundation. So that is step 1, creating your brand foundation. How do you do that? So when I get together with a client, we start with a strategy session, and I focus that entire strategy session around 2 sets of stories: your founder's story and your purpose story. Your founder's story is how you got into business, and why you got into business, and your purpose story is what keeps you going, right? So why these 2 stories? Why should you start your brand with the foundation around those 2 questions? Why you got started and what keeps you going. I'm going to tell you why your brand should be built on those 2 questions. It's because they are uniquely yours. Your founder story and your purpose story, why you started and what keeps you going, those 2 things are completely yours. So no matter what kind of no matter what other businesses out there, no matter how many people sell the same product or service as you, nobody has your founder story. Your founder story is yours. Your purpose story is yours. So if you think about it this way, how many people are out there saying that they have the best product, the best service, the best customer service, the biggest, the cheapest, the fastest, or whatever? How many people say those things? Literally everybody. Literally everybody thinks that they have the best customer service, right? Literally everybody thinks that they have the best idea or the best product. So if you're going to build a brand on top of an idea like that, it's not unique. It's not I mean, everybody says those things. So creating your brand on top of a foundation of what makes you unique already creates an avenue for authenticity, and that's what people need. You need an authentic brand. So going ahead and creating your brand on top of those two things, your founder story, how you got started, and your purpose story, what keeps you going, is going to set you on a clear path to creating an authentic brand that's going to stand the test of time, right? So how do you gather those stories? How do you create a compelling story like that? So first of all, I'm just going to give a shout out to a book Kindra Hall, I think, Kindra Hall, Stories That Stick. She does a great job of telling and why these stories are so compelling to people. If you want to dig a little bit deeper and understand why your founder story and your purpose story is important, she does a great job in her book. Again, Stories That Stick. I'll put the link in the comments for it. It's a great read, great listen if you want to listen to it. But how do you develop your founder story? Where does it come from? So really, what I do, grab a piece of paper, write founder story on the top, and literally just write it out. How did you get started in this business? Why did you get started? What are you doing? Just write it out. No detail is too little. I mean, get as detailed as possible, honestly. Any detail right now is helpful. So some of the prompts that I use to help my clients kind of figure that out, I ask them things like, what made you even consider the business that you are in? What hesitations did you have? What were the adversities that you endured? What did your first win look like? Who's helped you along the way? Just asking questions that build a good story around how and why you got started. And again, no details too small. This is a gathering phase, so write all of the details down, right? So your founder story is easy. That's the easy part. The second set of stories are your purpose stories. What keeps you going? So what makes a good purpose story? I swear I cracked the code on what makes a good purpose story. I get so excited about asking people about their purpose stories because I get inspired by listening to different business owners for why and how they keep going. But what makes a good purpose story? There are stories that align your personal values with the services that you offer. Again, a good purpose story aligns your personal values with the services that you offer. Okay, so I like to think of this in two parts. I literally just think of these two things in two separate parts. First, you gather your values. You gather all of the things that are important to you, and then you gather your services. And literally just think of stories. I guarantee you have customer stories or personal stories that align these two things together. So how do you gather your values? I literally just ask questions like, what are the most important things in your life? If you could give one piece of advice to somebody, what would that be? What is the most important quality in a friend? So things that make you think about the things that are important to you, your values, right? And then we go to phase two, your services. What are the parts of your job that you would do for free? If you could teach somebody something about your job, what would you teach them? What is something that you can do to make somebody's life better? Okay, so your services. And you put those things together and you just look to see if there are any specific stories that align either of these that align these two things together, your values and your services. And in the time that I've been doing this, when I ask people these questions, everybody has specific instances and stories where their values align with the things that they do. Otherwise, I mean, honestly, if you didn't have stories like that and you were in business, you won't be in business very long. If you're not doing things and serving people in the way that align with your values, your business is not going to last very long. So again, every time that I've done this with clients, they have stories to share. So I challenge you to think about those things, think about your values, and think about your services, and gather as many stories as you can that align those things together, and you will have a solid brand foundation, okay? So that's step one. Now, before I end this, one thing I'd like to say is that I've discovered that people from central Minnesota specifically hate talking about themselves. People hate this process because they're gathering these things and they're saying, who the hell cares? Who cares about why I got started in business and what my values are? I will tell you that it is extremely important and people do care. And that's what we're going to focus on tomorrow, the who cares part of all of it. Okay, so trust me on this. Go through this process, create your brand foundation, and tomorrow we will talk about who cares and how you find those people. Okay, so that's all I have for now. Again, every day this week, I'm going to be hopping on live to share one step, the behind the scenes for how I help different sales teams, small businesses, and entrepreneurs build their brand identity and their brand foundation. I'm going to take one step every day. Today was step 1, foundations. Tomorrow we're going to go into step 2, all right? So email me, message me, contact me if you have any questions, but I hope that I can just help as many businesses as I can this week during this crazy time. If you have a business idea, also please message me. I love to help people get started and get pointed in the right direction too. So that's all I've got. All right, I hope you guys have a great Monday, and we'll see you later. Have a great day.